This tutorial, explained by one of Azore's developers, Paul, gives an overview of all of the options for model manipulation and views. Azore gives users the ability to tailor the navigation settings to their personal preferences. This tutorial also includes instructions for exporting Azore views to Fluent.
Views. Bring your views up. You have your saved views. Again, I'm a little excessive with the number of views I saved sometimes. But what you may not know is you push this button and you get all these options over here. And let me explain the difference between some of these, because some of you know and some of you have asked me these questions. So the default comes up as trackball. When you're in trackball, you move and it turns whatever direction you want. So you can look from any angle and totally whatever you want. Elevation, in contrast, always has an up direction, and the up direction always stays up. So now as I drag it around, you see I have Y up, Y is always going to stay up. So even if I look from the bottom or top, and so you can never get Y up to go away. So this is just a matter of preference, whatever works better for your brain. You choose whatever. Under trackball, you've got all these different options of what's going on. And one of interest is the rotation center. And if you might not know, if you hold down Control, you click on something, it moves your rotation center to wherever you click. So click there, it's going to rotate around the top. And you can kind of see that in what I'm doing here. Every time I click, it's moving my rotation center. It's also changing the view so that it doesn't move the picture. When I'm in elevation, there's these 4 different options for elevation, and they, besides giving different numbers, they behave a little differently. So the center angles is closest to the trackball. If I click somewhere, it's going to move my rotation center to wherever that is and change the view offset. So I can rotate around this point way up here or wherever you want to rotate it. You switch target angles, you notice the only thing that changes is there's no view offset. And the reason is under target angles, your rotation point is always in the center of your screen. So if I pan it around and rotate, it's going to change my rotation point. If I click on somewhere, it's going to move that point to the middle, because by definition, it's always rotating around the middle. So if I want to rotate in that place, it's going to move it to the middle. So it's just a matter. This is, for me, this is my favorite. It makes the most sense. But again, whatever you like. Target and position is, I'm looking at a certain point on the screen, and this is where my position is where I'm viewing it from. And if you're familiar with Fluent, this is the same thing that you give it in Fluent for when you're setting up a view. Your target and your position and a view size, and that defines your view in Fluent. This final one, target offset, is similar, except you have a target point and then you have a distance removed from that. With this being similar to one in Fluent, something to keep in mind, you can export your views to a views file. Whenever you do this and you add a VW on there, Fluent views, it's going to export as a Fluent views file, so you can import into Fluent the views we've made in Azore. There's no reverse of that. This maybe someday. With that in mind, here's a little Fluent advice. Fluent always uses the target and position, but the distance between the target and position matters and should be roughly the size of your model, because it uses those numbers to clip in the Z buffer range. So if you're going to export to Fluent, what you can do, go to the target and offset, and it tells you what is my offset. Well, I'm only at 1 inch offset. That's not very much. So I want to set it to like 20 meters. Then you come back here, you'll notice my position has been offset now, except I didn't hit return. Apply that. Now my distance offset is 20. And so now if I export this to Fluent, I'm going to have a target and a position that are offset properly so that Fluent won't mess it up. So something to keep in mind if you're ever doing that.